so this week is totally bananas. I spent the first couple days on the weekend up in Toronto, Canada, working with the Bonsai Society up there. They put on an excellent show. Unfortunately, I did workshops all weekend, so I wasn't actually able to get down and take video of the show, but trust me, the trees were absolutely incredible, and the material that was brought to the workshops was great as well. So I had a great time with the folks up there. Now I'm down in Ohio working on a private collection for the week. So I'm gonna take you down and show you some of the trees that we're working on. This is a fantastic collection, so I'm looking forward to helping move that forward one more step. And then later this week, I'll be in Minneapolis and St. Paul working with the club out there. So it's gonna be nuts this week, traveling all over the place, but it should be a lot of fun. So I'll take you guys along with me for that. So the first project we're going to be working on is this Japanese maple here. It has a little bit of frost damage from the spring and it's in a weakened state. So we're actually going to pop it out of this pot, even though it's in full leaf right now, and slip pot it into a special made wooden box. That's going to give a bit more aeration to the roots and hopefully kickstart this tree back into better health. I think this is gonna work. So now that we know it's gonna fit in this wooden box perfectly, I'm gonna actually score or work out some of the roots just around the periphery and right underneath, and then we're gonna aerate the soil only slightly. I don't want to disturb the roots too much, but I do want a bit more oxygen penetration into the root system itself for the health of the tree. As you can see, we're being very conservative right now, working these roots out around the periphery and underneath the root ball. Look at that root mass. That's only after one growing season, having been repotted in the spring of 2016. So we're getting into the second growing season right now, but you can see just how matted this root system is. All right, so the last step here is going to be to aerate the soil using what basically amounts to a leather punch. So right now Steve's adding some soil to the pot. It's a mix of 1 part Akadama, 1 part lava rock, and 1 part pumice. So we want really good drainage on this tree, and this area is quite humid up here, so this really coarse mix should do well for the tree. So in the very bottom of the pot, there's a layer of slightly coarse pumice, pure pumice. Then there's a layer on top of that, and that's what we're using right now, which is a mix of 1, 1, 1 Akadama, pumice, and lava rock. It's sort of a medium grade. And then on the very top, we're gonna add about an inch layer of smaller particle soil in that same ratio of 1 to 1 to 1 with pumice, lava rock, and Akadama. This allows the tree to aerate well all the way through. And the purpose right now of repotting this is to get more oxygen to the roots, to really get the tree to flush out, put out some back budding. Okay, now that we have the tree potted up, the next step is going to be to balance some of the energy on this. So we've got weak areas that were damaged by frost, and then we also have very strong areas that are sort of overtaking or overpowering those weaker areas. So in those stronger areas, just like in the last vlog, I'm going to go through and remove 1 leaf in each pair so that we can get more light and air to the areas that are weaker and also to the inner areas of the tree too. So that's going to help balance the energy of the plant. What we have to be really careful with though is overdoing that. So there's only a handful of areas right up here in the apex, down here around the front side as well, that are too strong. So I'm going to cut 1 leaf off in each pair there to help balance that energy. So this is as far as I want to take the tree this time around. We've gotten certain areas thinned out, just like we discussed, and I put a few wires on certain branches to replace those that were lost due to the frost damage. So for the rest of this season, we're going to fertilize this tree, make sure that it gets back into good health, and then next year we can get back to developing that ramification. This tree will probably remain in this wooden box for at least 2 full growing seasons, maybe even longer. Just depends on how it recuperates and recovers. All right, so what we've done on this particular tree here, which is a Zelkova serrata, or Japanese graybark elm, that was originally in Japan and imported from there. It was actually featured in several books in Japan before it got imported to the States. But what we did with this today was take off about 50 or 60% of the outer canopy of the tree, doing basically what's called partial outer canopy defoliation. That allows light and air to reach the inner portions of the tree in here, strengthens those areas. We get smaller secondary leaves when they flush out, and twice as much ramification. So this is something that we'll do on a yearly basis while the tree is in really good health. So it's my second day here working on this excellent private collection, and today we're going to be working on this bird's nest spruce. I styled this tree a year ago from completely raw material. It was collected out of a landscape bed a few years ago. And last year I did the initial styling on this tree, setting the bones into place. This spring it was repotted by another bonsai professional, Tyler Sherrod, into this excellent gyozan pot. And now what I'm going to do today, since the wire's been removed and the branches are kind of flopping, is put the tree back into shape. So we're going to rewire this plant and get it back into tip-top shape. So what I'm doing right now is balancing the energy on this giant spruce here, pinching back the longer shoots and leaving the weaker shoots alone so that we can redirect energy to those areas of the tree.